All right. Happy Monday. Hope everybody's good. Obviously, short week, so we'll do this again on Wednesday. We'll cover the Iowa game coming up, mostly on Wednesday. Kind of just started getting deep into the game planning mode of them. Got done yesterday with our team, practiced last night. Guys have a nice little bounce in their step and are practiced well last night. Day of recovery today, take care of schoolwork and get everything rolling as we are ready for a short week in terms of travel, but a normal week in terms of the game. Looking at the game, I thought a lot of good things, some things we could continue to clean up, get better at, get back after it again tomorrow, full pads against a fantastic opponent coming up this Saturday in their home environment, which is a very difficult place to play. We'll continue to improve in all three areas, I hope. As in each week, we're going to try to get a little bit better in every area that we play and see if in each phase we can improve offensively, defensively, in the kicking game. And if we can do that, we should have a better performance each Saturday. What's that?
You got an update on Sebastian Valdez?
No real update at this point. Still expecting him to play on Saturday.
You know, I thought in your great offensive line rebuild, the Michigan game would be a true test of how well it has come off, and I thought they held up pretty well. I saw your center bend over Mason Graham backwards on the touchdown run. Could you talk about how they played on Saturday?
Yeah, I think the offensive line's continuing to improve. It's exciting when, you got, our center came from Portland State and our left tackle came from junior college and our left guard was coming off of an ACL, and our right guard started one game at Ohio State, and then our right tackle came from San Diego State, and none of them played together in the spring. Only one of them was actually on the team in the spring. Well, the guard was, but both Landon and guard Memelar were out because of ACL. So their first time together, these five guys, was training camp. Probably the third week in training camp was the first time that they were able to go as a group in full pads because they were still continuing to recover. So, they certainly are continuing to improve and get better. I thought D'Lo at center is done a nice job continuing to get better and working through the process of becoming a starting center in the Big Ten. That is different than being a starting center at Portland State. And I think that, Max McCree and Swanee, the last 2 weeks has been Max. That's very different than being a starting left tackle in junior college. So proud of the way these guys are coming together. A lot of room to grow. Hopefully this week we play a little bit better than we did last week.
Has Max won that job? Is Swanee still banged up at all, or?
Yeah, Swanee's, I would say Swanee's probably getting closer to being fully healthy. Last week he was not able to take a ton of reps in practice, so hopefully this week he'll be able to take more and be able to be a part of the rotation if he feels 100% and he looks 100% or close to it at this point.
How did Durfee come out of the game with the toe?
He's pretty banged up, which has been the case really Mondays through Friday. We need this bye week to come up after this game on Saturday to give ourselves that opportunity. It's the halfway point of the season, which is a great time to have a bye, 7 games into the year. But we need him to have that full week of real recovery, I would say, before he's playing at the level he played at in training camp. But we'll see. We'll see if he can go on Saturday. Again, he'll probably be a day-to-day.
Michigan did not cross their own 45 in the last 4 drives in the game. Is this the best your defense has played all year long up to this point?
There's been great moments, and that's what we kind of talked about. But there was the 2 takeaways were huge. That was the biggest difference. We've managed to get stops. We've managed to cause 3 and outs. We've managed to have goal line stands. But when you have the takeaways on top of the 3 and outs, that's how you have the 4 possessions where you don't cross the 40, and that's how you have an ability to outscore a team 13-0 in the fourth quarter. And that's how it all played out. So I think complimentary football-wise, that fourth quarter was the best quarter our team has played. We made 2 field goals. We scored a touchdown. We took the ball away twice. We closed out the game in 4-minute offense. All of that is what allowed us to do that with the way our defense took the ball away, first with the fumble recovery and then with the interception.
Speaking of fumble recovery, Boy had a really nice game. It also looked like you put him on offense really early on. Was that something where you wanted to have him go one-on-one with the defensive tackle because of his strength and skill set? Or is that something where you're just kind of lacking tight ends?
No, we wanted him to do it. We thought it was a good opportunity. We're trying to build our brand of football. We're trying to create our identity. This isn't, as I've said before, we are not in the Pac-12 any longer. This is not the same type of opponents. This is not the same type of football. These games are not 49, 45, 42, 37, whatever they used to be. You're not going to find those games very often here in the Big Ten. So it's a game of physicality. It's a game of defense. It's a game of running the football. It's a game of making plays when they present themselves. It's a game of matchups. And in this case, there was an opportunity for us to set the tone on how we wanted to play the game of football. And we thought Voy would be a great guy to help create that identity for us.
There's been teams in the Big Ten traveling, I think, multiple time zones haven't fared well on the road so far this year. Do you think there's anything to that?
I think nationally that's been the trend, from what I understand. I think it was like 2-18 or something to that effect, 1-8 in the Big Ten. But no, I think that that's certainly not going to affect our preparation. That's not going to affect our mentality. That's not going to affect our mindset. It's hard to win on the road. I would say that. That's number one. Number two, there's always those, great challenges when you're, jumping on a plane for a little bit longer. But we're excited about this opportunity, and we're not going to get wrapped up in what's happened in the past.
How much do you feel it's helped your defense to go against such a stable and strong running backs, Jonah, Adam, Cam, when it comes to facing some of these tough running backs in the Big Ten?
Yeah, I think both sides of the ball benefit from going against both sides of the ball. Our offense gets to go against our defense every day. Our defense is one of the best defenses in the nation. Our defense gets to go against our offense every day, and our offense is one of the better offenses in the nation. So when you get to do that and you get to go back and forth, I think it helps our defense where they have to go against Jonah, then Cam, then Adam. We have Jordan Washington in there. So you get speed, you get size, you get all the different looks. Offensively, it helps us tremendously when we go against, the corners that we have. When we go against the defensive line, when our tackles have to block Durfee, when our guards have to block Valdez and Bandez, and when our tackles go against Ward, all that stuff helps us. And I think that it's continuing to make the team better.
You mentioned D'Angelo settling in as a starting center and everything. How encouraging was it to see him and Will have, a pretty good game in terms of snapping?
Yeah, I thought they handled themselves really well. Again, it's a great challenge to not have self-inflicted wounds, and we see it. I think we all saw it yesterday in the NFL. There are moments in every game that there's something that occurs, right? There's a block, there's a safety, there's a 4th and 1 that doesn't go your way, there's a fumble, there's a fumbled snap, there's a pick six, whatever it might be. It's how do you handle it? And I think that this past game, our guys handled it the best. We didn't have those moments where I would say in prior games we had those moments, and that made the biggest difference. I just think that we wound up probably trying to go for the jugular a little quick right there, and there was a chance I think he tried to hit Kalecki over the linebacker, and the linebacker had a good jump on it, and it's just tough to layer it in between the linebacker and safety in that look.
Season high 7 catches for Kalecki. Just what has he done to kind of integrate himself into this offense better?
Yeah, he's another one that wasn't here in the spring, got here in the fall from the University of Nevada, had to try to learn our program, learn our system. All summer he had to do it on his own because he wasn't a part of, our program until late because of just the way the transfer rules worked in that case. So he's just getting more and more comfortable. Then he was really behind Quentin Moore. And then when Q got hurt, so really he didn't start taking the reps with the number ones as a tight end, as a Y, until week 2 of this season. So you're talking about Eastern Michigan week on. So really when you look at it, he's had about 12 practices as the starting tight end at Y. I think he had his best game this past week. We felt more comfortable creating some plays where he was the primary rather than, let's call it, just a part of the read. And he did a really nice job of stepping up and taking advantage of that opportunity.
I know you guys are leaving a day earlier than you usually would, but do you do anything else this week to prepare for a 9 a.m. Pacific time kickoff?
Yeah, we're going to practice Thursday morning at 9 a.m. We're going to walk through Friday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And so we'll at least give ourselves that, let's call it 2 days of doing football at 9 a.m. Other than that, today's your standard day off for the players. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we'll stick to our normal afternoon schedule because of academics and they have classes. And that's, this is one of the deals that we'll work through Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, we'll practice here and then fly out at 12:30 rather than just fly out in the morning and try to practice over there in the afternoon to try to get ourselves the best acclimated we can. But it's going to be a beautiful day, 77 degrees and sunny. Fantastic environment. As I told you guys, I played there twice, once at Minnesota, once at Michigan. And we got to be ready for loud. We got to be ready for energy. We've got to be ready for incredible fan support and obviously a team that is built on toughness.
Does Quentin Moore have any chance of playing this week? And Russell Davis, I think I saw him in uniform at Rutgers. Is he getting close to?
He's close. He's good to go this week. So Russell Davis will be cleared this week to play, which is exciting. He'll be the first one of the, let's call it, long-term training camp injuries that are now cleared. Still waiting on Kevin Green and Quentin Moore to get cleared.
Is he an edge rusher, Russell?
He's an edge rusher for us.
Not even down lineman at all.
No, he'll be an edge rusher. He'll be in the role of backing up Isaiah Ward.
Where have you seen DeMond improve the most this season in terms of maybe more so from the passing game? Because kind of one of the things you mentioned is not just when you bring him in the game just as a runner, you want him to be able to be a threat in the passing game as well.
That's right. So he's 85% completion in the passes we've asked of him. He's getting about exactly what I was hoping for, which is about 12 plays a game, which would put him at about 150 plays at the end of the regular season. That would allow him to walk into next year with incredible confidence that he's kind of hit on all marks. This past game, we played him in 4-minute. So we played him at the end of the game. We played him at the end of halves. We played him in all different spots of the game. His passing he's becoming more and more confident in the route concepts. He throws a beautiful ball, so that's not going to ever be the issue, the physical talent. It's just continuing to learn the offense, and he works extremely hard. He's got a great teacher in Will. And, they're like, they're constantly together. They're super close. Jimmy's done a great job with them. So I feel very, very confident when he goes in the game that we can call what we want to call. And kept him in on a 3rd and 6 the other day. We tried to take a shot down the field on a 1st and 10. And then he did a really good job of managing the run game.
You mentioned being a teacher. How much does he embrace that mentor? So some quarterbacks don't like doing that, right?
Oh, they're like, they are best of friends, those two. They are constantly together. They laugh with each other. They are great mentor. It's a great mentor-mentee program we got going on over there right now. Every time I sub one out at practice, they're high-fiving each other, doing their own little handshakes, and it's really fun. It's fun to see that type of relationship. We're fortunate that we had that in the past. I think it's so critical to the success of your quarterback room. There's always healthy competition, but when you root for one another and help one another, it gives you such a better chance to get better.
Considered a real deceptive player. Was he really fired up to throw that double pass? Because he actually, I guess you would call him a wide receiver when he lined up.
Yeah, I guess you would say that when he lined up in that position. But yeah, sure he was. He was excited about it, and he loved the opportunity. He loves the opportunity to have the ball in his hand. I would say that. He's a playmaker. He's somebody that loves to get touches of the ball. And, that was an opportunity there where he not only did he get to catch the ball, but then he also got the ability to throw the ball. So you get the double whammy, and he was excited about that.
The TV broadcast mentioned that you guys had brought in a kicking specialist this week to look at some of Grady's miss. I'm curious how that came about and if you felt like you guys got anything out of that.
Yeah, I worked with a guy that was a longtime NFL special teams coordinator, very much well known in kicking and punting, and thought that it was a good opportunity to have him, talk to me and Coach Pow Pow, talk to Bailey McElwain, our special teams assistant, and just kind of go through some specific drills, teach them really more than anybody, some different mechanical adjustments that can be made, talk to them a little bit about preparation during the bye week, some of the things that we could incorporate in the bye week. We weren't going to really start incorporating things, game week. But in the bye week, some of the things that he's done with some of his NFL kickers in regards to, let's call it a pattern of numbers of kicks and where you can take them from each hash, and talk about the center, the short snap, and where you want to, if there's some location stuff we can improve upon, and gave us some ideas of some drills that he's done in the past that has helped them as well.
Was the trajectory on the block
Too low.
okay?
You guys were 0-3 on third downs and short yardage. I guess with this O-line still kind of coalescing, where can they help you guys out in short yardage going forward? Where can they grow?
Yeah. Well, the goal line play was short yards, right? So we were 3rd and 1 on the one there that we got. Then at the end of the game, we had that, 3rd and 4, and we ran for 3, and we got stopped. We had I think that it really depends on what we're calling and what's happening in the game. And we had the 3rd and 2 on the 2 that we threw the fade ball, so we got that one. So I don't know exactly where we were and what runs got stopped there, but I think in the passing game, that 3rd and 2 to 3 area is a pretty interesting one because you've got to deal with all the coverages. A lot of teams will just no longer play man. So you got to deal with the fact that the zone coverages and be cautious of not hitting man beaters versus zone coverage. And but pretty good. I thought we were getting better. I think we're getting better in there up front. And sometimes you got to make a guy miss. Sometimes there's an extra guy. If every 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 hit, they would just give it to you. So you got to be able to convert on those as well.
Well, the chance to go back and watch the film, what did you see from the look on Cam's interception towards the end of the game?
Oh, I thought it was great. Cam Fab's play? Yeah, I mean, that's what you're looking for. And I told Cam in front of the team it was based on his preparation. He was up here Wednesday night at 9:45 at night watching the passing game. And when there's certain indicators of when you're going to run crossing routes or in cuts, then you could take your jumps. And it was one of those times that he had a good feel what was coming based on his preparation and the coaching. And when that happened, he was able to just jump underneath it and make that play. So it's pretty cool.
You had a season high 6 red zone attempts against Michigan. Do you feel like that area is coming along? Do you feel like there's a breakthrough there?
Yeah, I mean, we were 5 for 6, but 2 of them were field goals. One of which was at the end of the half, and one of which was at the end of the game. So I thought that we did a nice job down there when it was there wasn't a time restriction, let's call it. And then one of them was a block field goal so it was a block field goal, it was a made field goal, and it was another made field goal, and then three touchdowns. So I'd love those field goals to be touchdowns. If we get in the red area 6 times, I would love 42 points. So we got a lot of room to grow.
You didn't have Javon Parker, and Valdez was limited. Who did you need to have to step up on the defensive line and fill those roles?
Alenius Davis stepped up. Logan stepped up. That was the most amount of reps Logan played in the game. I would say Bandez had to step up and make some plays. Really, the linebackers had to cheat up a little bit more and be a part of the run stoppage. I would say all of it. Everybody had to step their game up. Jacob Lane had to play some for Durfee. So I think all those guys, had to just step their game up a little bit more. And then this week we're not gonna have Javon Parker back the rest of the year. Hopefully Valdez is good to go, but we need to continue to build depth during the season. I challenge our guys to always understand, like, the goal is not just to get better in the off season. You got to get better in the season, and to get better in the season, that means you got to get stronger. You got to be ready to take on blocks, and so all those guys are going to have to improve.
Butler available last Saturday?
He was, and I expect him to hopefully be available. Well, he'll be available. Hopefully, be able to make an impact this week.
Seemed like it was one of Will's better games from a timing perspective. Can you talk a little bit about just his progression as he gets more comfortable in the offense?
Yeah, Will's done a great job for us. He's another one that I believe in his preparation. He's learning the system at a high level. I think he completed 74% of his passes on the year. He's thrown 12 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's handling the line of scrimmage phenomenally well. He's doing what we want in our offense. If you look back at our offense over the years, traditionally, that's what we try to look like, right? We try to look like a high completion percentage team, a low interception team, a high number of successful plays and explosive plays, but yet also use different ways to move the pocket in the screen game to get some early completions as well. He's done a really good job of that. So if we can continue to help him improve in all areas, we'll hit a few more down the field. We'll hold the ball a little bit, a quarter of a second less to take. We took 4 sacks. We'd like to avoid that. Like to get that number down to 1. And then, let's see if this game we don't turn it over, because this game's going to be quite a challenge. Okay? All right. Have a great one.